NFC, the team that everybody is talking about are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, aka Tampa Bay. Tom Brady leaves New England free agency, joins Tampa. They also get Gronkowski to come out of retirement and play with Tom Brady. And you have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? But in my opinion, I still think that the defending NFC Conference champions from last year, the San Francisco 49ers, are still the best team in the NFC. Now, a lot of people last season, before the season started, didn't really expect that much out of the 49ers. But I did. I said that the 49ers were going to be a playoff team. And my record prediction for the 49ers was 10-6. Not only did they meet my expectations, but they also exceeded my expectations. Because not only did they make it to the playoffs, but they were, without a doubt, the best team in the NFC. They beat all of the best teams in the NFC. They blew out Green Bay. They beat New Orleans. They beat Minnesota. I mean, they basically beat all of the best teams in the NFC from last season. And going into this year, I don't see a reason why they still shouldn't be the best team in the NFC, because this is a roster that hasn't really had that much turnover. Now, aside from the fact that they did lose Joe Staley, who's been a staple of that 49ers offensive line for nearly the past decade, he retires, but you fill and replace him with Trent Williams, who is regarded as one of the best offensive tackles in the NFL, right? Now, you trade DeForest Buckner to the Indianapolis Colts, but you still have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. So for the San Francisco 49ers, in my opinion, the 49ers are still the best team, at least from a talent perspective, are the best team in the NFC. Now, on the offensive side of football, of course, we know they got Jimmy Garoppolo, who a lot of people keep criticizing and keep throwing shots at, talking about how he needs to be replaced and things like that. Like, I find that absolutely outrageous how dude misses one throw in the Super Bowl and people are quick to call him absolutely garbage. Like, people keep saying that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't good. He got carried by a great run game and this and that, despite being top 5 in almost every category in the NFL, right? So, I mean, I guess the media is just running out of things to talk about. But Jimmy Garoppolo got the 49ers to the Super Bowl last year. And, I mean, if you don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is good, look at what the 49ers did when Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't playing. I don't find it ironic that when Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play, the 49ers are garbage. But when he does play, they're in the freaking Super Bowl. I don't think that's ironic. Okay? Now, we got to talk about the run game. This 49ers halfback group is the best, most deepest halfback group in the NFL. I mean, you got Tevin Coleman, who had 544 rushing yards last season and 6 touchdowns. You got Raheem Mostert, who became the unsung hero for the 49ers offense in the playoffs. He got really hot. You also got Jerick McKinnon, who a lot of people have been really high on, who we've yet to really see do anything in a 49ers uniform because he's been injured. So what is Jerick McKinnon going to be able to do this year for the 49ers? Is he even going to be able to make it through the offseason, for crying out loud? Because I really want to see what he's going to do, what he's going to bring to this halfback stable that the 49ers have. You also got Jeffrey Wilson as well. So the 49ers have probably the best, most deepest halfback group in the NFL. Then when we get to the wide receivers, you got Deebo Samuel, who is coming off of a very impressive season last year. He had 57 receptions, 102 yards last year, and 3 touchdowns. You also got Dante Pettis, which I'm really disappointed in, because I thought last season he would have stepped up. Then you also got Brandon Ayuk, the rookie out of Arizona State. I think Brandon Ayuk with Kyle Shanahan is going to be an absolute monster. I think him and Justin Jefferson have the potential to be the 2 rookie wide receivers who have an impact the most on their team's offense success this year. You also got Jalen Hurd, who I'm really intrigued in, because if you guys don't know about Jalen Hurd started his career out as a halfback for the University of Tennessee. He transferred because he didn't want to be a halfback no more. He felt that he could last longer and have a longer pro career or a long football career if he switched to his position to wide receiver, right? Now he's big. He can also play tight end as well. So he can do a lot of things. He can play tight end. He can play wide receiver. I'm really interested in seeing what he does for the 49ers this year in that offense. And I'm also interested in seeing what Travis Benjamin does, because Travis Benjamin is a really good deep threat. He's one of the fastest players that we have in the NFL. So the wide receiving group for the 49ers is really good and really solid. It's headlined by Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Then you also got George Kittle there, who without a doubt is the best tight end in the NFL right now. Now, it used to be Rob Gronkowski, but Rob Gronkowski hasn't played football in a year. So over the span when Rob Gronkowski's been competing for the 24/7 championship in the WWE, you got George Kittle, who has been claiming the throne as the best tight end in the NFL over him and Travis Kelce. Then you also got, on the defense side of football, you still basically have one of the best defenses from a talent standpoint in the NFL. You got defensive end Arik Armstead, who had 10 sacks last year. A lot of people really aren't talking about him that much. Everybody talks about the guys like Bosa, D Ford, and DeForest Buckner, but Arik Armstead had double-digit sacks last year. Then you also got D Ford, who had 6.5 sacks last year. Then you got Nick Bosa, who was the defensive rookie of the year, who had 9 sacks last year. And for the first half of the season, he was in the running for defensive player of the year as a rookie. Now, we can only expect that Nick Bosa has double-digit sacks this year. I think that Nick Bosa ends up having 15 or 14 sacks this year for the 49ers. Then in the NFL draft, on the defense side of football, besides from trading back up in the late first round for Brandon Ayuk, in the early round they swap picks with Tampa and they get defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw out of the University of South Carolina, who probably was the best defensive tackle in this draft class. Him and Derrick Brown basically 1A and 1B. A lot of people didn't really know how good Javon Kinlaw was because he played for South Carolina. South Carolina was a garbage can this year in college football, but that's why you didn't know that he was a All-American this year. This guy is a stout pass rusher, and he should be able to fill that hole that DeForest Buckner left when they traded him. So I'm expecting him to have an impact right away. I think he could end up having 6 or 7 sacks right away this year. Then you also got Solomon Thomas. Now, Solomon Thomas, without a doubt, has been a bust, but last year he was a really good rotational piece on that defensive line for the 49ers. So this defensive line that the 49ers have, even though they got rid of DeForest Buckner to the Indianapolis Colts, is still one of the best defensive lines and one of the best pass rushing units in the NFL. Then looking at the linebacker position, you got Quan Alexander, who missed a majority of the season last year. Then he's going to be coming back fully healthy. I think he came back for the playoffs, I believe. You also got Fred Warner. You also got Greenlaw. So this linebacking core is really good. And if everybody's able to stay healthy, this may be one of the best linebacking cores, if not the best linebacking group that we have in the NFL. So you already got the best pass rushing group in the NFL. You got one of the best linebacking groups in the NFL. Then in the secondary, you got Richard Sherman and you got Jason Verrett. And Jimmy Ward in the back, the secondary at that safety position. So this 49ers defense, led by defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, who pretty much, if I'm a betting man, I would bet $100 that this would be Robert Saleh's last year as a defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, because he's most likely going to end up being the head coach around this time next year for a different NFL organization, because he was very high and a lot of people's talks when it came to head coaching candidates, and for some reason he ended up not getting picked up by any organization, which I thought was stupid. So he still comes back as the DC for the 49ers, at least for this year, until he ends up getting a head coaching job next year, right? So, this is a defense that is going to be really good like last year. I think this defense will end up still being a top 5 defense, still being able to get after the quarterback. They're going to be top 5 in sacks. They're going to be able to force turnovers. And you got an offense that still should be putting emphasis on running the football. Jimmy Garoppolo still going to be able to make plays when it matters. I don't understand how people are defining Jimmy Garoppolo as trash based on one missed throw in the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo basically played 3 good quarters in the Super Bowl and folded in the 4th quarter. Okay, so I'm not gonna put one bad quarter of football against Jimmy Garoppolo. So overall, this 49ers team, in my opinion, is the best team in the NFC. Now, so right now, if I'm a betting man, I'm putting all my money on the 49ers to win this conference and represent the NFC in back-to-back years and the Super Bowl this year. So let me know what you guys think about the 49ers down in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content, and thanks for watching.